Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. How you doing? Hopefully everybody had a good Christmas and is recovering today. Didn't have too many turkey wings. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow me on all social media platforms and leave that donation for that fried rice and chicken wings. But more importantly, become a member to the channel. The goal is to get about 1,000 members, 2,000 members, so we can start to do even more fun stuff here as our own little ecosystem. Now, Terence Crawford. Word on the streets, Terence Crawford was injured. So he announced a fake retirement. And he did that because Terence Crawford wants to be missed and that Terence Crawford wants to be there to be a demand for his return and he can come back and get that Wu-Tang cream, cha-ching ching, dollar mill y'all, $100, $200 million payday. Now, to that I say, in the most respectful way, hey, yo, fans out here spreading these rumors need to hold their horses and stop taking it to the stupid. Now, did Terence Crawford retire? Yeah, he did. The belts, they're gone now. Okay, so there are going to be fights made for number 1 and 2 guys to fight for those belts. So the interims will be elevated to full champion. But let's just be real here now. Terence Crawford retired. But I think he retired because he was at his peak. I don't think he retired because of injury. All fighters have little lingering injuries. But there was nothing going on with Crawford that would force him to walk away from the sport. Not when it comes to injuries. So people got to stop. Because there's no credible reports indicating that he retired due to anything specific related to an injury. Now, there have been fighters who've been forced out of the sport due to health issues. But with him, there's absolutely no widely reported injury diagnosis tied to his retirement. I personally think he chose to walk away unbeaten, 42-0, because he had probably, I don't think there's any win he could have any bigger than the win he had over Canelo in September. And to be honest with you, why would you hang around the sport? Well, you're not appreciated anyway. Even after fighting Canelo, they still weren't giving Terence Crawford credit. What do you want Terence Crawford to do? He finally got the Wu-Tang cream, cha-ching ching, dollar bill y'all payday, 50 to 75 million. The man's in Forbes magazine. He already had money before that. Crawford's a smart dude. People just sit there and watch him and see that, he really doesn't say much and they question his intelligence and shit because sometimes when he tweets stuff, the grammar isn't the best. But let me tell you this. You're sitting here underestimating Terence Crawford's intelligence, man. That dude he's a smart guy. Crawford's not dumb. He's never been done with his money. You know what I'm saying? Crawford got his shit together. This money he's made here in the last couple of fights, that's just cherries on top. He didn't need that. But now that he got that Wu-Tang cream, he out here in the breeze. I don't blame him. And I'm going to tell you this. Him retiring is not a medically forced retirement. There's nothing wrong with his eyes like Margarito. You know what I'm saying? With Earl Spence, I don't know what's going on with Earl Spence, but I would think Earl Spence not returning to the sport is more medical than Terence Crawford retiring. It was a choice by Terence Crawford. And who can blame him? Let's be honest. What more does he have left to prove? Terence Crawford is now, 38 going on 39? Whatever his age is, he's in the same position Mayweather was in. Mayweather started getting up there in age. They wanted him to go fight those young lions. They wanted Mayweather to fight Triple G. Y'all remember that? They wanted him to fight Triple G. Triple G was out here murdering people. Do I think Mayweather would have beat Triple G? I don't know. Because Triple G had a chin. Triple G cut that ring off, keep that pressure on you. And depending on the size of the ring, Floyd would have needed 26 by 26 foot goddamn ring to stay away from Triple G. Because Triple G is one of them fighters who you've seen who had the ability to cut the ring off in very few steps. You see some fighters, they be in there goddamn like dancing like Fred Astaire, tap dancing like Sammy Davis Jr., all over the ring trying to cut it off. They're not very good at it. Triple G, man, just gliding across the ring. 1-2 steps, cut your ass off, bing, bing, and your ass in trouble. So Crawford doesn't need to hang around and trying to fight these young killers. Do I think he can handle his business? Yeah, I do. I'll be honest with you. He's a perfect fighter. He's unpredictable. No one's figured him out. So how can you go against him? But I'll say this. Hey, yo, hold your horses. Let's not take it to the stupid. Because Father Time is undefeated. And he's been undefeated for a long time. Crawford ain't beating no Father Time. Nobody beating Father Time. I'll tell you that shit. But they don't have nothing left to prove, you know what I'm saying? You know, Crawford's own announcement and message emphasized legacy and satisfaction, not pain and injury. There's a big difference between legacy and satisfaction and then pain and injury. He explicitly framed it as stopping while he still has it. And I think that's very important, man, when you talk to these different fighters who retire. It's like, yo, I'm going out on my own terms. I'm done. Crawford made a lot of money. You look at Roy Jones Jr. still wants to fight because he ain't make the kind of money that he wanted. He had some bad investments. Some things didn't really work out financially for Roy Jones. The way for him and what he was in boxing, Roy Jones should be a gazillionaire. And I ain't saying he ain't okay. You know what I'm saying? But he ain't what Roy Jones deserves to be. There's never going to be another Roy Jones Jr. That shit Roy Jones used to do was amazing. But there is one fighter who Bud is close to, who I could tell he want to come back because he's seeing that money. And he left too early. That's Andre Ward. He can say he was glad with his decision and everything. I think he's kind of in a situation like me. You know, I retired and I didn't return back to work. Now, I've done other things to keep me busy. Don't get me wrong. And I haven't missed a beat. But Andre Ward walked away. He said he was feeling a kind of way and he was just kind of done with it. And that's like with me. I was just kind of done. But even now, I still wonder, you know, if I go out here now, I still be that machine that I was. That guy could lock everything in, commit everything to memory, and be sitting in a briefing, sitting in a conference, and when everybody start talking and going back and forth, I just raise my hand, stand up, and kill that whole shit with one statement of facts. You know what I'm saying? And can cite shit because I've committed it to memory. But instead, I do the little YouTube thing, keeps me busy. I got small kids. But there are some times where I wonder, you know, man, go out here and just do it for 6 months and see how I feel. And I think Andre Ward feels that way, you know what I'm saying? Let me get back in and train and see how I feel. But you gotta be committed to it. But for Terence Crawford, he's not like that. Terence Crawford, he had nothing to prove, man. You know, and this is key. He's one of the few elite fighters in history to retire undefeated, undisputed at the top and have made gazillions of dollars. Crawford is, why continue? And then somebody talking about, oh, because of the WBC drama, that boxing kicked him out. Good, they got rid of him. Who kicked Crawford out? Who, what, when, where, why, how? Where you get that from? Crawford was kicked out of the boxing fraternity. He is the boxing fraternity right now. Kick himself out? Shit, man. He deliberately relinquished those belts. Nobody forced him to do anything. After retiring, sanctioning bodies like the WBO, WBC, they began reorganizing them titles. You know, the WBC was sour because Crawford, they didn't get any money from him, I don't believe. He was going to pay him something. They wanted more, and they didn't get shit. Everybody else got money. But the bottom line is now they're starting to reorganize their titles because he vacated them by choice. He's up out of here. You know, this is not the same as somebody being stripped due to suspension or inactivity. It's called voluntary. But makes you wonder. Because I expected Crawford to at least take one more fight. But was Crawford retiring, right? Was that strategy? Was that more strategy like when Floyd Mayweather retired after De La Hoya? You see, this is where the speculation gets interesting. Floyd retired after De La Hoya for a year, allowed the rematch contract to expire, then came back the day after a year and fought Juan Manuel Marquez. So he didn't have to worry about fighting De La Hoya again. Is Crawford retiring now as a negotiation tactic? And this is what we call negotiation tactic theory. Some reports and fans chatter, right, suggest Crawford's retirement might increase his leverage in future negotiations. especially a potential rematch with Canelo, possibly for a much bigger payday. Now, I'll say this. If Canelo comes back and wins and says he wants Crawford, and then Crawford says, I'm coming back to fight Canelo, Crawford's going to get paid a lot of dough. The other thing I'll point out is Crawford retiring right now. Listen, Crawford was fighting once a year. He just fought in September. So if Crawford retires now, he has everyone thinking he's done with the sport, and then he comes back next year around the same time, September. That's what he normally does anyway. So Crawford could be out here hustling us. Look, I'm far from slow. I may not be smarter than the fifth grader, but I'm far from slow. I'm on to you, Crawford. We know you up to something. Look, there's no verified contract leaks or no shit like that out there. I'm not aware of him confirming that he refused a rematch offer due to money and then retired. I just think it could be a tactic that he's doing it. No official promoter came out and made any statements. Turki Al-Sheikh hasn't said anything. So we don't know, right? But what we do know when it comes to Terence Crawford, Omaha, Nebraska's finest, he's a smart businessman who controls his legacy and his brand very carefully. He has a lot of leverage, and retirement increases perceived scarcity of his fights. There's a high demand for something when there's a low supply, and with him gone, there is no Terence Crawford. So the demand can build, which means his value goes through the roof. But when we think about that kind of approach, there's a way to label that now. This isn't some shit that I'm just making up. Strategic retirement, also known as negotiation leverage. That's what it could be, what Crawford's doing. Stepping away now to create demand and value for a later return. That could be what's going on with Terence Bud Crawford. Now, remember, when you understand the negotiation leverage, that could be going on right here. I don't know, we're just having a conversation. This is different from injury retirement. This isn't injury retirement, people. It's more like retire, become hyped, and become missed, then negotiate the bigger deal. If you want to get me back in that ring, everybody want to see me, okay, give me $200 million. Give me something. Because him coming back, he got to put everything on the line. And it could work out, so the contract, the rematch context, look, Canelo rematch rumors are real. They are real. Obviously, there was some interest there, but I'll say this. Crawford may not want that rematch right now because, again, he's normally gone for a year, so he's going to play the game like I'm retiring and surface in a year, rematch Canelo. That could be what he's doing. But Canelo, no doubt, he wants the rematch. He publicly expressed interest in fighting Crawford again. But a rematch would require new financial negotiations. Not a simple clause because no confirmed rematch clause existed in the original contract. And that matters. So that means Crawford potentially walks away with the power and money and control of the narrative. So, I don't know. It's interesting when you sit back and see what Terence Crawford, the move he's making, how he's playing this out. Kind of does make you wonder, though, is this just a way for Crawford to escape drama with the WBC? He did come out here, man, and kind of ignite some bullshit, didn't he? Then he dipped and said, all right, I started it. Y'all finish it. I'm up out of here. But this WBC tension, that sanctioning fee stuff, the WBC talking about stripping him before he retired, Crawford don't care, man. He publicly criticized the sanctioning body. And you know what? This could have influenced his timing. Dealing with boxing politics is tiring, it's draining. And with him gone, they can't mess with him. They can't try to fix fights. They can't come out here now and make sure he gets a false positive drug test. Them sanctioning bodies got a lot of reach, especially at WBC. You'd be surprised what happens when the WBC feel like, oh, you messing up my money, because you messing up my money. There's a lot of other people's money you messing up, and they ain't going for that. The secret society's in full EFFECT. And if they decide they want to take Crawford's ass down, they could. That could be another reason why Crawford's like, yo, I'm up out of here. Y'all, this boxing politics ain't about to come out here, man, and ruin my legacy. So Crawford got out while he could. And to that, he deserves a round of applause. I don't know. I think most experts view the WBC issue as background context, not the primary reason for Crawford retirement. I just think he's focused on personal legacy at this moment. So, will he return? I mean, there's a couple of possibilities, Yeah, I think he will return if the money's right. Canelo rematch, huge money, legacy stakes. Maybe if not Canelo, another marquee fight. Definitely has to be some interest there. And I think he's reportedly open to talks if the conditions are right. You know what I'm saying? But it's got to be for some serious money. Even he said that. He could be retired 5-10 years. They offer him $200 million. He's coming back to fight. He don't care win, lose, or draw. He's coming to get that money. So, it is what it is. So those are the things that could definitely get him out. But then those things that make him kind of be a bit interested but cautious, I call it the maybe. Like if the fans want it, if there's a demand, maybe I'll think about it. History shows often come back for fighters if the call's strong enough, like Pacquiao. Pacquiao coming back, man, there's a call for him, but, I'm not so sure Crawford would do it just for a demand. He may think about it. But I'll tell you one thing he ain't going to do. He's not going to come back if retirement doesn't fit his life plan. Some fighters retire for mental reasons. They're just done with the grind, done with the bullshit. Anthony Joshua said Crawford might have retired too early, pointing to mental fatigue. Like, I don't know about all that. But what I'll tell you right now, in reality, right now, there's no confirmation he's injured, locked out by a promoter, or permanently unreachable. Rumors circulate, but nothing factual confirms a return strategy. So at the end of the day, will he come back? I mean, anything's possible. Nothing's guaranteed. One thing to understand is he controls the narrative. And that's something he's always wanted to do his career. He's never really been able to do that until the last few years. And he's doing it. So, I don't know. It's like, what's the boxing term for this retirement strategy? I think there is a term, and I think we talked about it. I think the term for walking away to increase value and return later, I think it's retirement leverage. Some also call it strategic retirement, market scarcity play, negotiation leverage retirement, kind of similar to what Mayweather used, just trying to time the market. You know what I'm saying? This is not a legitimate medical retirement or decline due to performance when it comes to Terence Crawford. Shit's a choice, man. He bounced because he wanted to. There's nothing more, nothing less to it. So take it easy, McNicholas, and hold your horses. Stop taking it to the stupid. Because Terence Crawford definitely changed boxing forever, becoming undisputed in 1, 2, 3 weight divisions. I don't think the Canelo rematch was a deal breaker. I don't think he's afraid of anybody. I just don't think so, man. People want to know what really happened. I think if you want to know what really happened, you got to get Terence Crawford to come out and give you an interview. But he's already told you he retired because he wanted to. Simple. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, 7 continents. I will be on tonight to do what we normally do. Talk Clarissa Shields. Keep cool. I'm in the breeze.